Hello everybody, it's Shoe Detective here, and I've been making these types of kitchen videos for my Finnish audience for a while, this couple of weeks, and we gotta eat. That's the secret. The secret of the day is that we gotta eat. But we have a problem. When we look in the fridge, there's almost nothing there. Yeah! It's kind of empty. And these are kind of the last fooding items that I'm getting over here, and then we'll have to meditate and act like a monk. Act like a monk. Yeah. It's not the first time that this happens, and it's funny that there's plethora of food in the Finnish grocery store and the markets, but it's a capitalist pig of a country, this Finland, and the welfare system is going down, and I'm in that welfare trap. I'm in that welfare trap. And all of you, the people there that have lived on welfare or are living right now on welfare, know that the welfare life is a trap. For certain, it's a trap. Yeah, I have some shrimp and smashed potatoes frozen and some fish, I mean chicken steaks, whatever they are. Yeah. And I've been cracking out a lot of videos as of late about porn addiction for my Finnish audience. I'll have to move that camera a little closer. I've been making a lot of videos about porn addiction for my Finnish audience, and kind of joking about flying to Japan. I don't even got no food over here, but I'm joking about flying to Japan. Yeah, it costs like a ton of money. But yeah, I've been joking about flying to Japan and getting laid to a lot of Japanese women. Yeah, I've been joking about it. And the way that you would do it is that you book the hotels, you just fly there to Japan, and don't make the beginner mistake that I'm just gonna go to the restaurant of the hotel, and there some high-class Japanese women, I'll just latch onto that and try to strike the match there and get that pussy from there. Not like this. Instead, you would go to the I'm fucking lost over here. I'm even in my own kitchen lost as I'm in Japan. Yeah, but you would go from there more like this. Find a manga store that sells Japanese comics, and there you're just going to hang out for a while, look at the customers, and when you spot some attractive Japanese lady wearing some chettai ruoki or what are those called, those like long socks on her and a mini skirt and this sort of stuff, you know, you see into that, then just grab the most lewd and lecherous and indecent manga off the shelf and kind of show it to that Japanese lady that doesn't probably speak English, and then just ask in English, what does this mean? And there's some guy just penetrating or whatever you're into. Just show that shit to her, and then from the reaction you're gonna get from her, base your next move on that. And if that's positive, just show your hotel card that you're gonna open the door with to the Japanese lady, so she will understand that you wanna fuck that Japanese lady in the hotel room. So that's how I would do it. Yeah, and yeah. that's the kind of stuff I've been kind of explaining to a lot of my Finnish audience, these strategies to the chopstick women. And I have this dream of well, I don't really dream about getting down and dirty with a chopstick women, but isn't that part of the kind of the picture of it? It's probably not the main reason why I think that chopstick women are the best. They are the best. And I don't know how it would kind of go in the real life situation though, because I'm kind of autistic and I have this, well, that wouldn't matter probably so much, but I have this stomach problem. And a lot of Asian food, it has this rice and, well, fish I could probably tolerate, a lot of it I could tolerate, but rice is really just, I just cannot eat that shit no more really. Well, I could eat it once, but it's gonna ache like the shit in the stomach for a couple of days. So yeah. So I just kind of dreamed out this fantastical situation while reading some poetry, where some guy ends up in the nightmare situation of being the Western dude into your Japanese, Asian, whatever, comprehensive guide to your Asian girlfriend type of situation with the family, and you have to kind of play that situation out done right and convince them that you're a decent fellow, something like this. And he ends up in that nightmare situation there. Yeah, some guys would probably even enjoy that. I probably wouldn't. And there's a scene in my fantasy that happened. I kind of wrote it out, semi-wrote it out. Yeah. And that scene happens like this. He ends up in this temple hotel with the Asian lady, and you know, he's just a Finnish fucker. Forgot to turn the dials on the stove. Dials on the stove. Turn the dials on her stove. Yeah. Turn her dials on the stove. Make that really hot. Yeah, but they end up this temple hotel, and in the temple hotel they get really drunk on sake. They just get really drunk and have a lot of sex, and then the Finnish or whatever Westerner man wakes up in this anime hangover. His hands, they just anime, just drawn there. It's just drawn, the whole fucking shit. He goes to the pond or the fountain of the temple hotel there in some Japan or some Asian country. Looks at his own reflection, and just Daisuke-kun there, or some Nietzsche from some anime series. Just the reflection there. And next happens the disastrous nightmare of a scene. The Asian lady comes from behind and hugs the man, and in the reflection, like kind of gradually, like shades of grey, he turns into an Asian man, a Japanese man, in the reflection, and gets into a whole lot of panic. Is determined that I'm gonna just fly back. I'm just gonna fly back to Finland or whatever. With the first taxi I'm gonna get my passport and this sort of stuff. And he's in a whole lot of panic. But then happens so that he exits the temple hotel, and the gorgeous, her Asian soon to be wife is just there, and he or she knows that this is how it's gonna play out. And while he's stepping fast on the step through the temple yard, he sees this temple maiden, and their eyes kind of meet there, and he realizes that maybe being an Asian man is not so bad, and returns back to the hotel room, and they eat together this kind of crystallized sugar apple or whatever the fruit it is, and they do in Japan, that they kind of crystallize sugar around it and they eat that shit. Yeah, and that's the kind of the beginnings of the impossible love story that would never happen for you or I. And that's the kind of the beginnings of it. And through that they also reveal in the story that most of the Asian women that are in the porn, they are grown in test tubes. Yeah, in this secret laboratory in the forest, in some bunker. And this whole type of a crazy story around it, where he goes to this theme park where there are displays of the New York with the Godzilla and the King Kong and Hong Kong, whatever. These displays, and there's a scene where he just looks at those displays, Japanese people just marveling at them, or Asian people, and he takes a few steps closer and the scene changes, like this gradual change. You go closer to it, the display in the theme park, and all of a sudden it's just redhead trannies dildoing each other in the ass, and you know, these porn scenes, and those Asian people, they're just hypnotized and what's that word? Mesmerized by the scenes there. And then it happens that this main character kind of gets real interested in one of the Japanese women in the theme park, and she's just taking pictures with her phone there, and when they exit the boner inducing theme park building, he sees her sitting at some bench and goes talk to her. And the women, she shows the pictures on the phone, and they're not either one of those. It's more like this amethyst cave where there's a lot of moving characters, these Finnish moving characters, and she's just beaming with this Japanese girl. Kawaii for those. She's just beaming there. And the man is so completely mixed up in his head at this point that he decides that he's not even gonna try to fuck that Japanese lady, not at all. Yeah. He meets all kinds of exotic hobbyist Japanese ladies, for example one that is really into this African voodoo mask type of shit, and it's just a one night stand for the guy. Yeah, so I think that if we would write together some books about this, the first one would be the Comprehensive Guide to Your Asian Girlfriend, and the next one would be the Foolproof or the Bulletproof Guide to the Oriental One Night Stand. Yeah, the Foolproof Guide to the Oriental One Night Stand. Yeah, so think about it. I don't know what you would be going for. I would feel that they're both probably pretty great, but yeah, I would go for both of them. If I would go to Japan, I have this kind of a dream, or this vision, that just in your Western country, don't live that 3D pig disgusting slut type of meme life, but instead kind of save your semen and then fly to Japan. And here in Finland, by the way, about those Moomin characters, there's this manufacturer of mugs called Iittala, and they print those Moomin characters here. And I have heard that in Japan there's collectors that collect those Moomin mugs in Japan, these Finnish ones, because they animated that series. But I kind of have realized I'm an infidel even in my own country, because I have realized that Ralph Polo mugs, they're the same price but they're better. Yeah, and they're made in China. These probably are made in China too nowadays. It's just a Finnish kind of a brand. They're not really made in Finland, no way. I'm kind of an infidel in my own, even on my own family. Black sheep. Yeah. Oh well, a black sheep. Yeah. But this sort of stuff happens in that book. And about the Oriental one night stand, I have this idea that in Finland there's a monastery called the Valamo Monastery. It's a Christian monastery, and I think it's one of the only monasteries in Finland. Finland is such a fucker of a country. You know, fuckery is the nature of the craft in Finland. We don't got no fucking monasteries in Finland, you know? They're so rare. And even this Valamo monastery is kind of like more of a tourist, whatever type of fuckery, whatever it is. So I have this kind of a insane type of plan. If I ever get hugely rich, this is what I'm gonna do. And as you say that in Japan, they first say konnichiwa, and they start fucking hard after that. You have to say konnichiwa and be really polite. But I got this feedback from some guy that, you know, knows about this stuff online, that really Japanese people and a lot of Asian people, the politeness is only on the surface level. The sex stuff happens kind of on automatic. Very easily it happens. There's not so much resistance that you would find over here on the west side of the globe, with all the Christian brainwashing about you being a sinner and all that. So yeah, buttering up that chicken. I like my chicken a bit roasted. That crispy finish on it, I like that shit. Crispy finish on it. But yeah, just going to Japan and flying there, doing this first, but then really starting to get like into that shit. I mean, imagine living in Japan for like 3 years or something like that, and having the goal of getting as much Japanese women pregnant as possible. Just fucking all that you can. Just living as this monk in the western part of the world for up to the 25s or 30s or even 35s, I don't know, and then going to Japan and fucking for the 20 fucking years time in 3 years. Just getting down and dirty into that shit. And just doing all that shit. And just having that shit unprotected. And just getting all those Japanese women pregnant with your stores of cum. I mean, the wine cellars of cum that you have. Yeah, that kind of shit. And then coming back and not getting caught and not having to pay those child support, whatever it is, when you make some girl or make someone pregnant and then you have to pay for the support of that baby and that sort of stuff if you're not there. Yeah. And I wonder if they would start sending these konnichiwa letters from Japan to your address and say that you have to pay this money. Yeah. And then just migrating into the luostari, into the monastery and just becoming monk again. This sort of stuff, when you're no longer that attractive. I mean, that would be the kind of the ultimate conclusion of the life. But really, I would feel that there has to be a third book into this series. So, first of all, it's Comprehensive Guide to Your Asian Girlfriend. That's the bestseller. Then there's the Foolproof Guide to the Oriental One Night Stand. And then, as the third book, we're gonna do the Workable Western Oriental Marriage, or something like that. What are we gonna call it? Hybrid marriage done right. No, the Western Oriental marriage done right, or whatever. Kind of posing it as it's not gonna be perfect, but it's gonna be the best. You know, it's gonna be the best marriage. Yeah. So I would feel that these three books are going to kind of target each one of the chopstick fetishists out there that have this streak for the exotic Asian girl or the exotic Asian women out there. It's gonna be a book series, or these books that are kind of interrelated, and we're gonna have to have a lot of data on this. And I don't have that data, and that's a problem. So we have to kind of take a strategical approach to this. How we're gonna ever get these books written? There's a lot of probably men out there like Linus Tech Tips that has a Chinese wife. These are gonna burn at this point. I'm getting so into this Oriental streak of mine. I'm so into this Oriental streak of mine. Gonna get that Asian wife and make love to her all night. Something like that. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Get that Asian wife, make love to her all night. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, let's not get too down and dirty right now. We have to pay really homage and stay Buddha on that. I mean, pay homage to the Buddha and stay polite in our ways, because we still have our clothes on here. We must not get too excited about this. Yeah, that's the Asian way. Even though we are so kind of attracted to each other, we must not let this evolve into a whole ton of an orgy. Yeah. Now I'm gonna eat. I mean, do you remember those? I don't know why my accent kind of slipped over there, but do you remember those? What was the girl's name? The one that ate all those hamburgers. The Japanese YouTuber girl that was just eating all that that fast food stuff. Who was that? I mean, that was kind of like porn. And she was so slim, even though she was eating all that hamburger grease. You know, it's just like, oh, just look at this. Just Japanese girl eating all these French fries. Yeah. Imagine this Japanese girl eating all those French fries, and then this caricature American cowboy hat dude. And he make it even from Finland. Yeah, me. And it's like, look at all these French fries this Japanese girl is just eating there. Oh yeah. That sort of stuff. Yeah. Man, I love. It's just one of those things that if you really love this stuff, I mean not this stuff. This is just for the kind of joke of me sustaining my own life. This is not your 5-star restaurant type of bullshit in any way. I mean, look at the draperies we have over here. I have to get pink ones. Everything in this home is just, you know, kind of, I don't even know. Yeah, it's just kind of like that. So yeah, remember that. Remember that Japanese fast food eating girl. I mean, that was just something else. I was just watching all of her videos at some point when I was a stoner. I was a stoner and a habitual Japanese pornography masturbator. Dude, I was watching all those videos, and did she even talk quite a lot in them? I don't remember. Was it in Japanese also? I don't remember. Why am I trying? By the way, this is a really odd combination of kitchen utensils. Utensils. Not pencils, but utensils. When you have a spoon, and what's this called? A knife. It's really not a knife, it's more like a butter knife. A spoon and a butter knife. They almost never do that. This is more advanced than chopsticking. By the way, I've never probably eat anything with chopsticks. I haven't even eaten sushi ever. And when you think about Chinese food that is served here, I really doubt that it's even close to what Chinese food is really all about. It's more like, this is the Chinese food that sells pretty good over here. Suitable for the Finnish palate. We Finnish people, we have a couple of traditional foods over here. Like the Karjalan piirakka and mämmi and this sort of stuff. What else? And it's funny that they say that these are traditional foods of Finland because there's no way to farm rice in Finland. I mean, how would you farm rice in Finland? And the Karjalan piirakka has this rice porridge type of feeling in it. It's not really a tradition, such a traditional food as you might think. But yeah, I remember that in more this not western, but northern part of Finland, when I was a kid, we went around the country a lot on this RV. In the summertime, and there was more probably of a traditional treat that was only sold in a couple of towns called Rönttönen. I think it's a kind of a Karjalan piirakka, but it has berry type of porridge feeling. I think it's cranberry or something like that, and it has a rye type of piirakka in it, and it's made with the more crustiness than the traditional Karjalan piirakka. And I had this packet of noodles. They eat a lot of that stuff, I think, in Asian countries. And it's wheat But I think they have noodles in other ingredients than just wheat. Yokisoba. Is that wheat? I don't know. But yeah, and I ate this bundle of them and I just got bad pain over here. It's the same with rice. And yeah. That's a bummer. So we're gonna write these 3 books and get laid to a lot of hot Asian women. This is our goal over here on this channel. We are the chopstick lovers. Beware. Beware. We are the chopstick lovers. I've realized that it's useless to kind of be open to other race of the women species than the chopstick ladies. It's useless to be open for them because it's never the same. It's never the same, mate. Yeah. Chopstick women are the best. But this is even more advanced. It's the we're gonna write a chapter in the book called the spoon and butter knife approach or something like that. Then we're gonna write a chapter about becoming that chopstick warrior. So as a repetition from the speech of the day about those chopstick women, there are 2 types of chopstick fans. The other is the I fap 5 hours to Japanese pornography and I'm trying to find a kind of the same race of female to do these sex acts with that type of a dude, and that's one type of a chopstick lover. And then there's the chopstick warrior that has probably been that beforehand mentioned guy before, but now has kind of realized that I have to kind of change. This is not the way to live. I have to become a chopstick warrior. I have to prove myself to the chopstick women race that I'm worthy of the chopstick women, not just 5 hours fapping to that shit every day. And this is what I want to grow you into. I want to grow you into chopstick warriors. Chopstick warriors for the new age of the United West and East. Yeah. United West and East. That's beautiful. Yeah. So we're gonna write there. I'm gonna write there a chapter about becoming that chopstick warrior. And if we can't get enough data in the book, we could even smash those 3 together. And the first part of the book would be the comprehensive guide to your Asian girlfriend. The second part would be the foolproof method to the Oriental one-night stand, or whatever it was. And then the third part would be the workable West and East marriage or something like that. The third part would be the marriage part. And we want to have a lot of data on this, so that we can kind of weed out the individual quirks of any specific chopstick lady out there and kind of paint this grand guide to that chopstick lover that for the whole of his life has been just in his hikikomori or his mother's basement masturbating to this stuff, and to actually get him out from there and into the world of the Oriental love fantasy. Yeah. And here, getting rid of the neck beard is not going to probably be enough. You need a little bit more politeness. You might even benefit from a bit of neck beard over here, I know. But that's my plan. I hope that more chopstick women will start to follow and watch my channel, because when I was a chopstick masturbation enthusiast, I watched a lot of chopstick women. Like the, what was that called? Machishuki or whatever she was. Big breasts and talking about travel, and even had a male companion in the videos sometimes, but I remember the male wasn't just very into being in front of the camera with her, and he was Asian too. So I kind of got really down, you know, these fantasy Asian women YouTubers, they should stay singles or hide their love life, because there's so much, you know, this masturbation enthusiasts that don't want to see that they're already taken. Yeah. Yeah, as a guy, a YouTuber, you really don't benefit at all from being single. Of course there's going to be a couple of those that if you would get kind of into a relationship, they would feel betrayed. You know, you were this forever long guy, now you evolved into that. What is this all about? It's about the chopstick love. It goes deep. It's about that chopstick love. When it hits you, it's kind of like a tidal wave. There's no coming back from the chopstick love. Thanks for watching this video. I hope that it got your boners running.